Man, hello and welcome to Ring the Bell podcast, instant reactions to Game 6. Man, I don't know really what we could say about that performance. After that first inning, I really thought we had something going. Nola pretty much 1-2-3 inning, gave up a single. We had two men on in the first. And then after that first inning, it was a shit show. Went downhill from there. Pretty much all you could say. It was pathetic performance by that offense. And after bigging up Nola all day, a lot of the people are talking about how great he's been in, their closeout games and all that. And he looked really pedestrian. Struggled through that first inning. Even though he had 3 strikeouts, had 20-something pitches, and then after that, it was not a performance that you expected. And that offense just looked like they didn't want to be there tonight. Man, I don't know what else to say. Dean, what did you think? What were your thoughts? We were watching together. Really, I need to hear Dean because I know where this is going to go. So I really just need to hear it.
I thought. Listen, I'm going to try not to swear tonight, but I thought this was one of the most spineless and absolutely fucking pathetic performances I've ever seen by a baseball team. Ever in their home stadium. This is up there for me with the no-hitter last year. This was just pathetic. Everything started off like good, right? You had Nola, strikeouts. You had 2 men on in the bottom of the first. Schwarber walked. Did Bryce walk? I can't remember.
Yeah, Bryce walked.
Yeah, of course, that piece of shit Trey Turner did nothing again. $300 million to just strike out and fly out like he's been doing most of the season. And I'm glad he's showing up when we really need him. It was just pathetic. It was pathetic. I know I caught some flack by saying the series was over after Game 4, but after today, I stand by that statement. I think they're going to lose tomorrow. I have no confidence in this team coming out tomorrow and hitting a rookie pitcher that completely shut them down in Game 3. I have absolutely no faith in this team whatsoever.
And I 100%, yes, I clowned you because I thought it was a dumb statement. But after watching that game tonight, I just don't like. They just look so putrid. Between yes, Schwarber, he did get on base 3 times tonight. So it's tough to really point him, but he was still 0 for 2. Got thrown out stealing. Turner looks he can't hit a 93-mile-an-hour fastball, and he's swinging like Casty right now. And then Harper, while I don't want to, really get on him too much, because he's carried us.
He's never going to see. He's not going to see it, and then nobody's going to allow him to get that pitch anymore.
He's trying. Yeah, he's trying too hard because the guys behind him can't hit. So he, another 0 for tonight. Bohm finally came through, but your big 3, Casty can't hit. You have a guy at the bottom of your lineup who
it's saying that too much for 2 years.
But it's like you have 5 like right now, a lot of guys that just aren't getting hits and can't get on base, and that's for as great as this offense was through Game 2 of this series, there was that fear because everything was going so well, from starting pitching to bullpen, to the offense, that this could happen. Did you see it coming this bad, John? Though, like this is, I think, next level, especially with this offense, the way they're struggling.
No, I didn't see it. I mean, I thought Nola was going to deal today. I truly believe, like, even though I've been giving him crap all year and everything, I just thought he was going to come out and deal like he's been the whole playoffs. But it seems today we got the Nola that was in the regular season today. That's who we got today. We got him where when he went down early, he wouldn't throw he wasn't throwing strikes. He would just throw it low and away the entire time. I was like, wow. One thing I did, the 2 things that really is struggling, the 2 guys that carried the team most of the year when all the other players, when Turner was struggling, when Cassie was struggling, when Schwarber was struggling, when Harper was struggling a little bit later in the season, Stott and Bohm are doing nothing right now. They have their flashes here and there, but they're doing absolutely nothing, and they are 5 and 6 hitters. I mean,
those 2 are between them and Turner really struggling. 4 or 5.
Yeah, 4 or 5, not 5. It's 4 or 5.
Those 2 guys struggling, I think, is the biggest deal because Harper. I'm gonna cut him a little bit of slack because I think his struggles this series, he has a lot of. I don't want to say struggling because he is batting .316, but it felt like a lot of the games that we've lost, he's not getting hits, and it looks like he's trying too hard. Well, I'm okay with it because Bohm is struggling. He's batting 233 this postseason, and Stott is batting 238 this postseason. Casty, I think going into this series, batting over 400, he's down to 233. I think he has one hit this,
He looks
since
completely lost.
So
I think it was one hit the whole series. I think it was that home run was his only hit. That was the first home run of was the game one when he hit that home run. That was his only hit of this whole series. Like he looks lost right now, like completely lost.
He looks terrible right now. And I don't know how you get out of it right now. I thought, the turning point of this series. And I think, we discussed a little bit earlier when, was that game 4, because game 3, you can deal with losing. That game 4 where you're up and going into that 8th, that's the game that Arizona really got confidence back, because they did come back. They won. I get we won game 5, but that game 4 gave them confidence. Like, okay, we can beat these guys. It wasn't like, they were struggling that game 3 where they weren't getting hit. They put up five runs and we blew it. And then today they just couldn't hit. And it looked like the pitchers know they can do whatever they want. And it looks like the hitters are they look uninterested at the plate. They're like Chris said it earlier. They're swinging at pitches that they have no business swinging at. Between Turner throwing his bat out, and I just don't know what you do from here.
When Castellanos is turning at 2 strikes, I think they're going to strike out every time. I don't see them getting. They're horrible with 2 strikes, and it seems like they're just swinging. Like just throw them sliders outside, they'll swing at it, and then just throw it again, and they'll strike out. Like it's like, what are you doing? Like, are you just guessing like what's going to come?
I don't know. I don't even know if there's anything you can change right now that really, because I get people are saying you move Bohm out of the 4 hole. I don't know if there's anybody you can put there that I'm saying, yeah, that's a good move to make. I just don't know. I don't know what you can do right now to this lineup with as bad as they look today that you can really say, I'm confident going into tomorrow night. Like, to me, the confidence comes from Rangers on the mound. But outside of that, right now in this offense, I think I have zero confidence that they can come and show up tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree. That's the only bit of confidence I have is Rangers on the mound. Like, I think the pitching is going to be there because
that's how I felt today.
He saved all the good arms. He saved all the good arms for tomorrow. So the pitching is going to be there tomorrow. But the offense,
I thought about Nola today.
Who knows?
Like, I thought, I'm not worried. Nola's pitched today. He's been unbelievable. He's been lights out in the postseason. His whole career has been lights out. That's how I felt today. And now, is it going to be this with the Rangers? Like, Rangers going to have his bat out? That's what I'm more worried about. Is Ranger going to have his bat out? Like, what are the bats going to do? And it's a game 7. Like, I would never, I don't trust a single pitcher in a game 7. I think it's going to be bats. Whoever can score the most runs, that's who I think is going to win a game 7.
Well, that's baseball. No, but I agree with what you're saying. I think we have, but if we put up and it really stung because you're watching that game and that Turner, in that first inning where Turner missed, it felt like every time the Phillies got a big, not want to say big hit because they weren't hits, but they were getting a lot of flyouts to the warning track that were right there where the Diamondbacks, the 2 home runs they deposited were just insane. They were out quick. They just, they took advantage of our mistakes. And I think that what bothered me the most is it's not Strider coming in throwing 99, 100 miles an hour. We got guys that can't hit a 93 mile an hour fastball right now. And they just, they look lost. They're not squaring it up. And then they're swinging at that slider sweeper that's out of the zone by 2 or 3 feet. And just, okay, we don't care. It's, to me, you're in game 6 of the National League Championship Series. You have a chance to go back to the World Series again and to close them out. And you come in here and you look uninterested. You look like you don't care. Like Chris said, early in the game, it looks like they shut it down. To me, that bothers me because
me too.
You're in the National League Championship Series and you put together a performance like that is I don't know how else to describe it, but pathetic. You couldn't do anything at some point. And I think we discussed it after game 4. You got to look at getting Rojas out of there. He gives you nothing. He's batting .095 in the playoffs.
I mean, yes, but there was a lot of times where he took a lot of hits away where they were going to be those diving catches he made. They fall in there. Marsh isn't making those plays. Cave's not making those plays. And then
I'm not saying Cave, but I think Pache could definitely play some center field.
Yeah, maybe, but he's not as good as Russ. One thing, I'm fine with him playing the first, if you have to play him the first like 6 innings, and then his next appearance comes around and you're losing. All right, let's pinch hit somebody there. But like they don't have anybody. Even if it is Pache, he can't hit. Cave certainly can't hit. What even could have put Schwarber back out in the outfield and let Bone play for first base, Harper DHs, and you put Sosa at third.
Well,
like I mean that's
no.
you know what I mean? That's what you're coming down to because none of the guys
I'll
can
tell
hit
you
on
one
the bench.
thing.
Nobody can hit. Not a
I
single
wouldn't
person can hit
mind
on that
putting
bench.
Sosa right now in for Bohm with the way Bohm's batting. You know, I know he had 2 hits today,
I
but
mean,
he has struggled. Like, and that's the issue. Like, to me, I thought that 4-hole hitter was going to come through this series. You know, we're playing Arizona. You know, yes, they have Gallen, who's probably, you know, either 1 or 2 in the Cy Young this year. You know, Kelly's okay, but he's not what we saw today. You know, we have guys that are behind Harper that just aren't producing at all. Like when you have Stott and Bohm behind there and you're not getting hits most games, you know, yeah, I get they get 3 hits combined today, but outside of that, they've struggled. Real Muto really hasn't come up clutch, and Castellanos is terrible. So it really it stinks when, you know, Turner and Harper are the only 2 real guys doing anything. You know, Schwarber's hitting home runs, but outside of that, you're getting 0 production. And
Turner's not doing anything though. He hasn't done anything since like game 2.
And he looked ever since the game 4. Like I remember seeing him at the end of game 4 when he had the opportunity to come back and tie it or to get the lead at the end. He looked so awful. And it just kind of, I feel like he's trying to, like, he's got to understand the position he's in, because there's a couple of, like, the plays where you have Harper behind you. You got to know where you're batting in that lineup and understand Harper's behind you. And, you know, it looks like Schwarber is he's taking the walks, where a guy like Harper, to me, is struggling too much. You know, he did take a walk today, but he has been swinging a lot of those pitches, trying to, you know, to make up for the lack of offense behind him. And I just don't know what you do from here, because Topper has shown he's not going to change the lineup. So, you know, we pretty much know what we're going to see tomorrow.
If you're Robert, you ripped them in the locker room today. Like you close the doors, no media, nobody. You don't say publicly. You absolutely just like shred them, every single person to pieces. Like they gave up today. They just like once the
he gave up too.
Yeah,
you could tell by the pictures. The pictures he was putting out there after Nola, he was like, I got to save these guys for tomorrow. I mean, like I said, we got the big arms in the bullpen for tomorrow. Fresh, that's at least a positive, but. I mean, to bet on the fact that like you're just like, oh, we'll just take it in game 7. Like you can't have that attitude like at all.
It's game 7. I don't care where the game's being played.
Yeah. You let a 35-year-old mediocre pitcher just dominate you tonight, and like some no name. That guy's gonna just fade off into the oblivion when he retires, and nobody's gonna remember Merrill Kelly's name ever in the history unless he wins a World Series this year with the Diamondbacks. Like you let Bryce Harper,
even if
Kyle Schwarber, all those guys, let that dude just dominate him. Bryce Harper, future Hall of Famer. Kyle Schwarber is one of the greatest postseason home run hitters of all time. Just got dominated. I mean, Schwarber walked 3 times. I can't be that angry, but he struck out twice. I mean, that's not good.
No, and
I'm not really.
No, go ahead, John.
I mean, yeah, Schwarber had it. I mean, he was on base twice, though. So, I mean, then Harper was on base once when Schwarber was on. So, after that, like, I mean, you're sitting there with 2 runners in the first inning with 2 runners on. I mean, that's go time. Way to set the tone early. You set the tone early. I don't think they come in with that next inning.
Exactly.
It was the first 2 innings we had guys on and couldn't get them in. Like, so we got a run in the second, but there was an opportunity at that point to get much more at that position. And I agree with you. I think that first inning really set the tone because they got out of first and second, there's first and second, 1 out. And we got 2 guys on base, Bowman Stock come up and do what they've really done all season and shit to bed. And it's upsetting, and then you give up 3 runs and you get 1 back, but you could have had so much more in that second inning because Schwarber walked again and Turner comes up with an opportunity to drive in some runs because you have guys on first and second. You got runners on. I think at that point, there's first and second or first and third at that point. And Turner strikes out again. Just the way he in the big moments where we've needed him in this series, where you're paying a guy like $300 million to come in and be clutch. In those first 2 innings, he really had opportunities and crap to bed. But the other thing I'm really worried about is, Arizona is one of those teams all season that was very good on the base paths. And they showed it tonight. I think they had 5 steals tonight where they hadn't stolen on us much at all. If not, I think they had 1 steal before
I think
today.
they were worried about JT, but I don't think JT is the same defensive as he once was. And I think now they're realizing it. They're going to start taking advantage, especially tomorrow. They're going to be going crazy tomorrow.
There was a couple opportunities, I think. There was some they weren't holding him on. I think other portions, he made a couple. There was a throw, I forget who stole the base. I think it was either Thomas or Perdomo where he had him hosed and Stott just missed the ball.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's much as
but
that.
Not to mention, Noel's also a guy you can steal off of. He's very slow to the plate, too.
Yeah.
That's always been one of his issues, too, why he falls apart sometimes when runners get on base. He's so worried about them stealing on him. But it just felt like today, like, it was there still for the Phillies. Almost all they got a lot of runners on with no out today, and they didn't do anything to capitalize on. I mean, I felt like it's something like where the timely hitting wasn't there at all today. Like there was not. They were like just
it wasn't
poor at bats. It was tough to watch at times. I mean, there's no really words. It was a really bad. I mean, I thought game 3. What was it? Game
3
4 was game 4.
1 run.
No, it was game 4. I think it was
where we blew the lead. Game 3, they lost 2-1. Game 4 was that they blew the lead.
Okay, yeah. So then game 4, yeah, it was just one of the. Well, I thought that was one of the worst playoff games I've ever watched, like a Phillies playoff game ever. And then tonight happens. Like it's just like.
At least the offense came alive in that game, though. Put up 5 runs, and our bullpen came in and just decided, hey, we're not going to throw strikes. We're just going to walk people, and then Kimbrel's going to be a massive walking pile of shit. Guy's got 417 saves, and it forgets how to fucking get a goddamn out in that game.
It really feels like, it really feels like they came in this series, they won the first 2 games in pretty dominant fashion. And watching the last few, it feels like a team that basically said, we're going to show up and just beat an 84-win team. We're going to handle them. And it really feels like that because that game 3, the offensive performance against the rookie, terrible. Game 4, yes, we should have won. So a lot of this goes on Kimbrel. I think he's looked terrible because, gave up the.
It looked good tonight.
Yeah, it looked beautiful tonight.
I mean, the worst thing they did was letting them walk off that game 3. I mean, that's where it kind of went bad. I mean, you gave them so much momentum, especially then they can tack on another win if they came back and they bullpen blows it. And even though Wheeler was dominant because Wheeler was a great pitcher, they still had that confidence. Like, oh, we can still get these guys. Like Wheeler just had he was just on tonight, but we still have 2 more games where we can win the series. I feel like that's where they kind of lost it. I mean, they have to really wake up tomorrow.
Especially with the way that they look tonight. They look disinterested. Turner's going 0 for 4. When your top 3 dudes go 0 for 9, you can't. 2 of them are $300 million players.
Mm-hmm.
You can't win baseball. And I get it's a team game, but those are table setters. And, behind it, you hope for some extra. But I don't know if you're a topper. I don't know what you do. It stinks because it feels like it's going to be, Rangers probably going to give you 5. You hope he goes 6, but you feel like he can. If he gives you 5, it's got to be no hit. And they can't let that rookie kid that came in and dominated us in game 3. You can't have that happen again. You're an offense. You had a historical great offense, and I get they're still the players, but something has to happen. Because if they lose this series, and I don't want to even think about it, but it shouldn't even be going to game 7. And it's so terrible that it is. And
they're a better all around baseball team in every aspect of the game. I think
they are.
Bullpen. Nah, maybe not.
Maybe
not both. They have a better bullpen, but otherwise, their starting pitch is better. Their lineup 1 through 9 is better. I mean, they're just a better team, and it's a major upset if you lose this series, especially after the way you beat up Atlanta, the way you beat up Miami, and then the way you dominate in the first 2 games, and you're up 2-0. I mean, you can't blow this. You have to come. Mm-hmm. You have to show fuck
10 times today.
10, yeah. And I mean, Ranger needs to go 6 innings. It's not even 5 innings. He needs to pitch 6 innings. You can't let the bullpen get 4 innings of work. How bad they've been.
I don't know if he stretched out long. I don't know if he can. I don't know. tomorrow, and I agree with what Dean said earlier, it's one of those games where you got the other guys out of the way tonight because you know they're not going to see the field tomorrow. But if you see a guy like Kimbrel, like, you know, it's over. Like, to me, you go Ranger, Hoffman, Sir Anthony Alvarado. That has to be it, because if anybody else in that bullpen, I do not trust. And I don't feel I don't, my confidence level right now, and I know
Strom. Strom too.
I'm okay with Strom.
Yeah, Strom's been
Kirkring
pretty.
didn't pitch. I mean, Kirkring has his struggles, but he's still available. I mean, I wouldn't be
He's
surprised.
not. He came out today and gave up another hit. You know, like, he's not touching that field for me the rest of this. He's not touching it or the World Series if they make it.
Nick Castellanos in the NLCS has a batting average of .050.
Yeah, he has one hit. His first at bat. He's been 0 forever since the first at bat. His first at bat.
Yep, he hit that home run in game one, and has done nothing since. He might have a hit since then, like maybe, I can't remember.
So you two guys, like, do you really think though we're going to come in after the way we've seen 2 of the last 3 games? Just, you know, do you guys think it's going to be, well, I guess 2 of the last 4, and game 3 they didn't really. You think it's going to be the same lineup? You think he adjusted it at all after watching? Because I just
no.
You don't think it gets touched?
Nope. I don't think it gets touched at all.
I mean, no. I don't think he changed his lineup once last year in the playoffs, and there was times where they were questioning that the lineup should be changed. I don't think he changed it once. I don't recall. I think it was the same lineup throughout. I mean, you look at it all year. There's been situations where, like, when's he going to change the lineup? When's he going to move Turner down? And it took him months to move Turner down. It took him months to move Castellanos down. I just don't think he's going to do it at all. I think we're going with the same guys, same lineup, Rangers pitch, and that's what it's going to be tomorrow. There's no changes coming.
Man, this was such a heartbreaking loss, because it really felt like they didn't care. Like, Marsh,
it showed that they were human at home. Like,
that's another thing.
It showed they can lose at home.
I expected them, you know.
That's how it went to the World Series. Look at the World Series last year.
Yeah, they didn't lose until the World Series.
Yes, you know what I mean? And then it showed that they can lose there, and that's ultimately what happened.
Yeah, we had 5 players that didn't get a hit today. You know, and I get Rojas, he's not good at it, but when Casty, Turner, Harper, and Schwarber go hitless, that's a recipe for disaster.
4 guys that shouldn't go hitless went hitless. 4 of the 5 guys that shouldn't go hitless. Like, I think Schwarber can't go hitless, Turner can't go hitless, Harper, KT, and Castellanos. They're the guys who can't go hitless. They're your top dollar guys. They did. In a game clincher, they went hitless.
And it felt good. And after they got 3 in the second, where they come back with 1, and, you know, the team feels, you know, juiced up, and it's struggling. It's so frustrating. I don't even have the words besides pathetic to describe it. You know, I think we said all we could say, right? This was a pathetic performance. Let's go. Let's give a predictor. Let's try to leave on a positive note. Dean, what's your prediction for Game 7?
He's an evil smile on his face. I don't like it.
That looks like
I mean, I want to pick the Phillies.
I do. I kind of feel, and I feel the same.
But I think the Diamondbacks are going to beat us tomorrow.
Damn.
I just don't trust our offense at all. I think the pitching is going to be fine. Like it'll be like a 2-0 game. It'll be something garbage like that. Like, we'll make like 1 or 2 mistakes, and that'll be it. And then the offense will just show up small again, you know, like they typically do, and it'll be it. I hope I'm wrong. I 1,000% I hope I'm wrong. I hope we come out and we beat the living piss out of them tomorrow. 20-0. I hope it's embarrassing. And remember that Arizona needs to go back to being Arizona, losing 100 games a year. Like, I hope that's what happens. But I just got I've had a bad feeling since Game 4 about this team. I said the series is over. I made it in sort of jest, but sort of was serious about it. I just don't have any faith in this team tomorrow, the way they pitch tonight, or the way they hit or lack thereof hit tonight to pull it out tomorrow. I hate to say it. I really do. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong.
John, how you feeling for tomorrow?
I can't see them losing 2 games in a row at home. I can't see it happening. think they do wake up. I think they come out and they score early. I just hope the bats don't die. That's where I think things go bad. I think they come out and score early, and I think the bats might die out, and hopefully the pitching holds up to where they can. I think they get in a comfortable lead early, and then they kind of try coasting, and then that's when the bullpen struggles. That's where they lose the game, if they lose it. But I just can't see them losing. I don't see them losing especially two in a row at home. I just don't see it happen in the playoffs.
So
hope you're right.
I do as well. I know Chris's comment earlier was he really thinks they win tomorrow, and he sees an explosion offensively because that's baseball. So he did pick them. I'm kind of feeling with Dean. Before today, I was 100% confident they were going to win one of the two games. I had no worry. But after watching, the second game this series where this offense just didn't look good and looked disinterested and like they didn't care. You're playing at home. You talk about your home field advantage. You talk about how great it is here. And you're in game 6 of the NLCS and you give up. You look disinterested.
Yeah.
That to me is that's a struggle. And I know one of you said, Topper should be behind closed. We're in game 6 of the NLCS. If you have to have that type of meeting with your players and go yell and scream at them privately in game 6 of the NLCS, you can't.
I think there's never a bad time to yell at your team.
No, I disagree. You're in the NLCS. There's no reason I should have to motivate you to go out and play. You're playing for a chance at the World Series at Legacy here. Some of these guys, Harper made it last year. He's never, he had to watch Washington win it after he left. And I know he was there last year and he won if to me, I'm okay.
I mean, Jake, he had to watch Washington win it and then the Dodgers win it, which was the other team everybody thought he was going to go to in back-to-back years.
Yeah, that doesn't count. That was
it's still though they have a ring and he doesn't.
Yeah, so it's one of those things that
regardless of how long the season was, he doesn't have a ring.
He doesn't, and I don't want Topper. If anybody, I want a player. It's got to be somebody like Harper going in. Like I don't want Topper yelling. I don't even want Harper saying it should be just one of these guys. We're in the National League Championship Series.
I do have a bold prediction tomorrow. I think Harper gets walked 4 times tomorrow.
Well,
I don't think he sees a pitch.
It really looks like that's what they're doing. Schwarber and Harper are getting walks, and nobody's making them pay.
Yeah, because Turner's not doing anything and Bump's not doing anything.
I mean, Harper, he could have walked more than he did tonight, but
he could have walked a lot more this series. But he's trying to in the first 3 games. I think he saw I think it was after game 1 or what the stat was. He had 1 strike out of 18 pitches that he saw. If this dude just goes up there and doesn't swing, most likely he's walking. And I
good
feel
things
like
will happen if they do that. If he just I know he's trying he wants it more than probably anybody else in the world. But good things will happen if he does. If he takes the ball. Something good will happen.
Schwarber and Harper may not get an opportunity to beat him tomorrow. So somebody else, if they're going to win offense, if they're going to put up runs tomorrow, it's going to have to be somebody else. And it has to. And it sucks because he's playing terrible. It starts. I still think Trey Turner can, I know what Trey Turner is. I know he's looked a little bad. It has to be Bohm. He was the guy I said that start the series has to be whoever was that 4-hole has to be the guy because they're getting you can pretty much count on Schwarber or Harper being up, on base when you get up every time. And he hasn't delivered at all in those clutch moments. Yes, he got 2 hits today. Yes, he's been getting hits with nobody on base. He needs to deliver in those moments, and he just hasn't. So somebody else that I can see Harper and Schwarber getting a walk combined 6 times tomorrow because nobody else can beat them.
Yeah, but that's weird. He has been clutch because in the past he has been the clutch. He's always been one of the clutchest guys on the team. It's felt like since he was a rookie, it's felt like every opportunity he's got, he's having game-winning RBIs somewhere late in the game, and haven't seen it here this series. So hopefully something clicks tomorrow. I mean, I expect them to come out swinging and be ready to play tomorrow. I don't expect a repeat from today.
So I'm going to go ahead. I'm not going to predict a loss because it's just we're a better team. but I'm not going to say it can't happen. I'm 50-50 now, where before I was 100%. I'm going to predict the bats wake up tomorrow. And I've been saying it every day and pretty much in the group chat. Boom's going to have himself a day. I'm gonna will it. And if he doesn't, you gotta do something. But because they can't lose tomorrow. If you lose tomorrow, some things gotta change. You can't. When you, like Chris said, you were 2 weeks ago. They were, going into the championship series. They're the perennial favorites to win the World Series, and now you're going to Game 7 against an 84-win team. So they feel a lot like the Phillies were last year. Just kind of they got in playing with house money, and they're going to go all the way.
It's not even that it's Game 7 and it's been like a great series. Like you had a 2-0 lead and you blew a 2-0 lead. And then you had a 3-2 lead and then you lost again. And you've looked disinterested in 2 of the games. Like you could be anywhere else in the world instead of Citizens Bank Park, where you claim is the best home field advantage in baseball. You claim, and there's nothing like it. Well, give the fans something to cheer for. Because we're not going to cheer for you if you're half-assing it on the field. You're lucky I'm not there anymore. I'd be booing.
Yeah, it's so we have 3 wins and 1 loss, but I'm a 50-50. I wouldn't be shocked with the way they look tonight. They just look like they gave up, and I think it's hard.
I just don't see
turn it
2 games in a row at home. That's like this. I
hope you're right.
See
Yeah.
it happen.
Me too.
That's like I don't care what they did, what they look like. Everybody could die. Like I don't like on the team or whatever. Like I don't think like whoever. I just can't see them losing 2 games.
Did you just say they're going to win if everybody on the team's dead?
Yeah,
I just wanted to make sure I heard that correctly. If I did, good for them. That's amazing that we have zombies out there winning when the real players couldn't tonight.
Well, like I just don't see that.
It is Halloween. Well, yeah, so we have 3 guys calling a win, 1 dude calling a loss. I wouldn't be shocked. We'll be back here tomorrow night, win or loss. Hopefully it's a win, because I can't deal with another game like today. I don't want to be up until 11 o'clock tomorrow, frustrated. But for Dean Holsaffel, John McElroy, Jason Kent, Chris is dealing with some stuff, so we had to, take the night off. Let's go, Phils. Game 7, 8:07 tomorrow night. We need a big game from Ranger. We need a big game from this offense. Let's go, Phils.